Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by Hard Knocks FC Bantamweight champion, Jesse Arnett. Jesse, how are you?
I'm good today, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Sure, no problem. Thanks for doing it. Jesse, the name of the game is really random. That's where I ask you a random question and you give me the real answer. Some of these questions are custom made just for you, and some of these questions are generic ones that I ask all the people I interview. So, here's the first question. Superpower you'd love to have?
Superpower I'd love to have. Well, I already have superpowers, but the ability to fly would be kind of cool.
Favorite movie?
I'll have to say Dumb and Dumber back in the day. I'm not a big movie guy.
Favorite color?
Gold. All I see is gold.
Nice, nice. Favorite guilty pleasure?
Cookies.
Jesse, you've got a fight coming up October 28th at Z Promotions Fight Night Medicine Hat 2. Since the fight is right around the corner, what's your schedule like from now until the fight?
Well, today I just rolled no-gi, about 8 rounds, 8 fives, nice and easy. The work's done. It was a long summer grind. October shines here. I already own that belt. I just got to roll into Medicine Hat next Saturday night and pick it up.
How long was this training camp for you? Because it seems like I knew forever that you were going to be fighting in October. So how long was this training camp for you?
It was long. We put in a good 3 months, 90 days. More than that even. I started training I took about 2-3 weeks off after I beat Hernandez, and then I got July, August, September, and then all of October, man. It's been about 4 months.
You're fighting Johnny Bedford. What are your thoughts about him as an opponent?
I like Johnny Bedford. He believes in himself. He's got lots of skill. He's an NC2A background like myself. The difference is going to be skill. That's it. He's tough. I'm excited for this fight.
Some people say that Johnny Bedford's game is very similar to the way you fight, but do you see similarities between your fighting style and Johnny Bedford's fighting style?
Yeah, 100%. We're both aggressive. We both come forward. We both get in our opponent's heads a little bit. You can't bully a bully, so he gets away with bullying guys, but you won't be able to bully me. I'm 5'10", too. I got a 70-inch reach, too, so now it's going to come down to skills.
There's been a lot of back and forth between you and Johnny Bedford. A lot of things have been said. You've said that you're going to stand with him. He's said that he's going to stand with you. What's really going on here? Are you really going to stand with him? Because you're Mr. Gimme Yo Neck. You're the guy who's choking everyone out. So are you really going to stand with him, or are you just playing mind games?
I bet you anything he will wrestle me first. He will feel my left hand, and I'm a different fighter than I was in June. You can't even prepare for me. It's going to be similar to the Roland DeLorme matchup, except I have a lot more skill now, a lot more patience. If Johnny Bedford doesn't move his head, if he stands in the middle and comes forward and doesn't move his head, he's going to be bleeding within the first minute. 100%. It's just the facts are there. Little Josh Robinson took him 5 rounds. He's 5'2", and Josh put him down. And I'm not Josh Robinson by a freaking long shot.
And he's a flyweight. He just moved up to 135. He's not even a true bantamweight.
I didn't know that, but I believe you, yes, sir.
Yeah, he's from my area. Okay. Johnny Bedford has been fighting in my neck of the woods for a while now, because he was fighting in WXC. And Mike Hernandez, all those guys are from my area, so that's how I know all this stuff.
Mike's tough. You know, Mike shouldn't have took that fight. It was hard to fight me and then Bedford. That was tough for Mike Hernandez to take 2 guys like us back-to-back like that.
Yeah. But he's a wild man, that guy. He
Mike,
always comes to fight, yeah. Good guy, too. Like
good guy, very good guy.
Yeah. Of the things that Johnny Bedford does well, what's the number one thing that you have to be aware of when fighting him come October 28th?
He's got a lot of experience. He'll fight you with a bleeding nose. You got to hurt him. You got to put him away. He's been sub 10 times. He's been knocked out twice. He's dangerous. You know, those losses, when you look at a record like that, he's 23, 24, and 10 or 12, whatever his record is, you learn more from those losses, you know. He's not afraid of me. He's going to come up. It's going to get in my face at the weigh-in. It's going to be good. I'm excited for this. You can never underestimate Johnny Bedford. I like Johnny Bedford a lot. I'm excited to meet him. It's going to be good.
When you got the offer for this fight, did you know immediately who he was? Like, when they said Johnny Bedford, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. He fought in the UFC. He was on The Ultimate Fighter. Yeah, I know him. Yeah, I'll take that fight. Or did you have to do some research?
100%. Well, this is how it went. We tried to get Cody Gibson. They didn't want Cody Gibson. Cody couldn't do it for some reason. Then we had Dustin Kimura. But then I heard Mike Hernandez was fighting Johnny Bedford. So I watched that fight, and I saw Johnny Bedford, and he was, like, calling him on, and he's the man. And me and my team and everyone on this side would go, oh, this is perfect. This is perfect. Let's get Johnny Bedford. And then we offered them some money, and they didn't take it at first, so we offered them some more money. And then he's like, whoa, where did these guys get that money from? And then here we are. This is a sweet deal for him. This will be his last big paycheck. So it'll be good. I'm glad I can give him his last big paycheck.
Your last fight was against Mike Hernandez. His last fight was against Mike Hernandez. Were you impressed with his win over Mike Hernandez?
Yeah, the thing is, Mike didn't look like the same fighter when Mike fought me. He got beat mentally there. Mike was beat mentally. I wasn't impressed. It is what it is. I knew he was going to beat Mike. I knew he was going to choke him. I even called it. But it was mostly a stand-up battle. But yeah, he took care of him even quicker than I did, I think, even.
In MMA math, 1-1 usually never equals 2. Just because Johnny Bedford beat Mike Hernandez in less time than you beat Mike Hernandez, that doesn't mean that Johnny Bedford is just going to run right over you. MMA, it doesn't work like that because the sport is so unpredictable, and there's so many different ways you can win and lose, and there's so many factors that play in to the fights. So his win over Mike Hernandez in the big picture doesn't mean a whole lot, but given that the only common opponent that you share with Johnny Bedford is Mike Hernandez, how much stock do you put in to that win when you break him down on film, when you watch and study his past fights? How much have you studied that Mike Hernandez fight that Bedford recently had?
We're both the same height. It's going to be a completely different fight. I'm 5'9". Then there's no way Johnny Bedford's 5'10" either. I think he's lying about his height in that sense. With Mike was really short and powerful and explosive. I mean, Johnny's not super explosive. Johnny's got a lot of power. It's just going to be a completely different fight. This could be a great fight, too. This is everything you'd want. Come on, Jesse Arnett versus Johnny Bedford. That's cool, man. It's going to be a first or second round KO. Like I said, I'll tell him at the weigh-in. We'll see who wrestles first, and he will wrestle first. I guarantee it.
I'm so excited for this fight. This is an amazing fight. Z Promotions should be given a medal for putting this fight together because, let's be honest, this fight should be taking place in the UFC. That's how good this fight is, and that's how competitive I see this fight being. This fight is good enough to be on the prelims of Fox Sports 1, one of those kind of cards. It's good enough to be on a UFC Fight Pass card, one of those type of events. This is such a great fight. I have no idea who's going to win this fight. I know it's going to be fight of the night. I know it's going to be a very competitive fight, but I have no idea who's going to win. And not only is it a great fight style-wise, the storylines that are built into this fight make the fight even better for me. There's so much at stake in this fight. The stakes for this fight couldn't be any higher. On one side of the coin, there's Johnny Bedford. He's got to prove that he can beat guys like you if he wants another shot in the UFC. He's got to beat one of these guys who's on a good streak and is considered one of the best bantamweight fighters outside of the UFC. So he's got to get past a guy like you to prove that he deserves another shot in the UFC. And right now he's on a nice little win streak, so he has a lot of momentum, and I'm sure he wants to keep that going. So the stakes are high for him. And then on the other side of the coin, the stakes are equally, if not more, high for you in this fight because you haven't been to the big show yet. And to prove that you deserve to get a shot in the big show, you got to get through a guy like Johnny Bedford, a UFC veteran. You already have a win over a UFC veteran, Roland Delhomme. You defeated him back in August of last year. He's a UFC veteran, and how fitting that him and Johnny Bedford were on the same team on The Ultimate Fighter. So that's kind of interesting. So there's that storyline, but also there's other storylines, like you are currently on a 8-fight win streak with 7 finishes, so I'm sure you want to keep that win streak going, and also you're undefeated against American fighters. You're 4-0 against Americans, trying to make it 5-0 come October 28th. So there's that storyline. There's so many good built-in storylines to this fight, so I'm really looking forward to it. The stakes for this fight are extremely high, but who do you think has more pressure on them to get the win on October 28th? Is it you or is it him?
That's a great question. You're good at your job, and you know a lot of information. I respect you, Mike.
Thank you.
Equally, like I could easily put him away, and that's good for him, you know. And he beats me. Yeah, I can't even say those words because I don't see it happening. Like, yeah, I don't think he can beat me. The guys he's lost to in the UFC are my level of people, my level of fighters, you know. And unless he's improved drastically, which I don't think he has. We both got a lot to gain here. You know, I started off this thing to get my life better and to get back in sports. I didn't start going to get into the UFC or, you know, and I'm having such a good time on this regional scene. I got a fan base built here that is unreal. Like I'm so blessed and grateful. Like I got a big fan base and everyone loves watching me fight, and I like to bring it. Always 100%.
Because the stakes are so high in this fight, because of what could potentially happen in the future, because I really believe if you win this fight, you're going to make it to the UFC, because you beat Roland Delhomme, he's a UFC veteran, this will be your second UFC veteran if you beat Johnny Bedford, and I think if he beats you, you know, right now at 135 pounds in Canada, you're the man. It doesn't get much bigger than you in Canada at 135 pounds. So I think the winner of this fight is going to get that call to the UFC. But one thing that's been overshadowed by all these storylines is that this fight is actually a 5-round main event title fight. So my question to you is, how much does this belt mean to you?
It means a lot to me. This belt is... Oh, have you seen it? It's gorgeous.
Oh, yeah, it's great. Like, it's amazing.
It's amazing. I designed the frickin' thing. Like, it's my belt. I already own it. I have done everything I can. I got to just go show up there, take care of Johnny Bedford, and get that belt. You know, I'm not into material things and this and that, and it's going to be a great win. I'm super excited for the challenge, but the belt means a lot. A 5-rounder against a proven UFC veteran and a proven guy. He can go 5 rounds, you know? He can. But at the end of the day, I'm not Tyler Moore or whatever that kid's name is. I'm not Mike Hernandez, and I'm certainly not Josh Robertson. Not to take anything away from those guys, but he's going to find out real quick the level of caliber that he's in there with. He's pretty confident, too, as well.
Who's going to be cornering you for the fight?
My head coach, Anderson Goncalves, my striking coach, Jake Peacock, and then a couple others. Doug Harder, my boxing coach. It's a green light go for stand-up battle, though. We've been working everything, but we've got a lot of solid boxing rounds. You never mind kicks. We got a couple kicks, but it's going to be It's going to be boxing, slip, bang, rip, smash. I'll see shots coming, and then I'll Melchenko on him, be off on the side, hit angles on him, lift his head with my jab. He has probably southpaw. I'm a southpaw. Never mind that. I'm a decent southpaw. A very decent southpaw. It's going to be a tough night for him all the way around.
Now, I'm not from Canada. I'm from the United States. More specifically, I'm from Michigan, so I don't really know anything about Alberta. So how far away is Medicine Hat from where you live?
3 hours. We got coach buses bringing my fans up there. And I'm not even playing around.
How many tickets have you sold for the event?
7 tables, and then this week will be not many, maybe 100, 150. Not much, but like that's like my stall. Like these are people that don't miss my fights, and they always support. And I'm really excited for this. You know, I quit wrestling when I was 23, 24 years old, and I got into trouble for a bit, and just was not even just hanging out with the wrong people. And then I just saw this shit on TV, and I said, you know what, maybe I can do this. And I tried it, not training. I hopped in the cage 6 times, never going to a jiu-jitsu practice, not even sparring. And then I was like, man, I liked winning. I didn't like losing. And then now I finally put it together, and I got a solid group of guys. This is all extra for me. This is fun. Like, I have a lot of fun doing this. My entrance is going to be amazing. You know, I'll be coming out with the flag. Super excited for Johnny. I like him because he don't back down, and he's not going to take my shit at the weigh-in, you know. I kind of beat Mike at the weigh-in last time, unfortunately for him. He didn't fight the best, Mike Hernandez, I don't think, in either of those fights against Bedford or I.
If you win on October 28th, is this the fight that gets you into the UFC? Because I know every fight since probably the fight against Roland Delhomme, when you beat him, every fight since then, I know you've been saying, okay, if I win this fight, they'll give me the call. If I win this fight, they'll give me the call. Like, we've said that the last couple of times that you've had fights, and you've won those fights, but this time around, against a guy as good as Johnny Bedford and a UFC veteran, is this the fight that gets you that call?
We think so, but, you know, like, at the end of the day, I'm just going to keep doing my job, and that's going to the gym every day. I'm lucky I'm doing this full time, training 3-4 times a day. I come from a wrestling background, an NC2A wrestling background, because I was at Simon Fraser University, and I grew up with a really good Cuban wrestler as my roommate. And if I didn't have that wrestling, I wouldn't know how to compete at this level. So I believe I have what it takes to compete at that level. There's guys in the UFC that are easier fights than the last 3 or 4, going back to Vince Murdoch, who was a tough kid. And there's easier fights in the UFC for me. I'm ready for it. And if I beat Johnny Bedford, when I beat Johnny Bedford, we'll go from there. And like I said, it's not my decision. I'm just going to keep getting better and working on my skills. I'm so thankful to be where I'm at right now in life and in sport.
Now, I know that you thought that you'd be signed to the UFC before October of 2016. I'm sure you didn't think that you'd still be out on the regional circuit. So after what fight did you think, okay, now they're going to come in and sign me?
I thought after I beat Derek Minner, because he was pretty tough too. The thing was, I got those stupid subs at the beginning, and I wasn't, like, I'm subbing everyone now. My jiu-jitsu is good. And I got those subs at the beginning when I wasn't really committed to it. Like, I'd work all day. I was working concrete, and I would go down to the casino after working, and I'd scrap. And I wouldn't even wrestle, really. I'd scrap. Like, I'd beat them and, like, be beating them and get caught in jiu-jitsu. And then, you know, next month there's a fight again, and Sarah'd call me, and I'd go, darn, yeah, I'll do it again, you know. And then I went down and did it again, and then I'd lose. And then I was just like, man, I need to commit to this, because I was 3-3 at that point, and I was like, this sucks. You know, I can win, but then I keep getting caught in submissions. I'm a darn grappler. I can't be getting caught in submissions, you know?
What do you think has been your best performance during this win streak that you're currently on?
The best I ever felt mentally was last fight. Like, I can't wait to surprise myself even next Friday night, but definitely last fight. I'm not getting, I'm not nervous anymore. I've been in camp for 2 years. We get in the cage every 2 months. It's just like, it's easy now. I'm training with really good guys, and it's never harder than camp's been, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. And this is another one. I've had a hard camp. We've been a lot of hard work. So the numbers I'm pulling on my cardio equipment and the rounds I'm putting in, it's nuts. I'm proud of myself to come back in sport like this, to be giving it every day. I'm excited. I don't know. I think I should have got in 10-4, maybe, but who knows? I wouldn't even be surprised, like, if it takes till I'm 14 or 15-4, just because I have to clean that up, you know? My goal when I was 3-4 was to be 12, 13, 14-4, so I'm almost there. We're almost there.
Hobbies outside of fighting?
Not much, you know. I grew up with amateur wrestling. What do I do now? I'm kind of psycho, man. I write in my journal about this every day. I watch film. It's all I talk about. It's all I do. I coach wrestling. I coach beginner levels jiu-jitsu. I coach MMA, beginning level striking. I'm just involved in this daily. And like in my town, I'm taken care of. I can go to any gym and I'm welcome. And like I've kind of broke the barriers in the town for like people cross training, and everyone. I'm friends with everyone, and everybody's on the same everybody's on the big cat train right now, you know, and I inspire a lot of people, and my hobby is inspiring people right now.
Do you have any pre-fight rituals or superstitions?
Nah, no. We just go, let's go back to the wrestling. You know, when I was young, you weighed in at 7 a.m. and you're wrestling at 8 a.m. So lots of competition. That's what helps me.
So no post-fight rituals either?
No, nothing. I wouldn't say.
What motivates you in life and in fighting?
The fact that I just like to compete. Like I like to compete. What motivates me is stiff competition, and let's see what he's got. Let's see what Johnny Bedford's got. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this. This is going to be good. That's what motivates me. Another game wrestler. I'm excited for that.
Besides fighting, what are you passionate about?
Wrestling. I'm passionate about helping people, getting better. My brother and I have a landscaping snow removal company up in here in Canada. It snows a lot. I don't work in the summers, and then I work a lot with him in the winters, and then take the summers off to train. So just doing good in my life now motivates me, and staying out of trouble and giving people trouble in the ring.
Favorite food?
Oh, I like butter chicken right now. Even cake, anything. I went 60 days no bread. I got all the gluten out of my system this time just to try this new thing, and I'm firing, man. I'm on fire right now.
Favorite band and or solo artist?
Ooh, favorite band and or solo artist. It's a tough one. Okay, there's this band named High Kicks right here from Calgary. His name is Danny Vacon. You should check him out. He's pretty good. High Kicks.
Okay, let me write that down. High Kicks.
High Kicks. You'll like it, man. I'll send it to you on the internet.
All right.
He's come out with me a few times, and I've used a couple of his music.
Favorite TV show, and it can be a show currently on the air or a show no longer on the air, just overall favorite TV show.
Saved by the Bell.
If you could trade places with anyone in the world for a week, who would you trade places with, and why?
I don't know. I don't think I would, because I'm so happy with where I'm at. I'm happy. I want to just keep trying to build myself up. I don't think I'd trade places with anyone.
If you could stay one age forever, how old would you stay, and why?
I think probably 19 or 20, because I was on the national team at that age, and you could eat and do whatever you wanted, and you wouldn't get tired. That's why. You could eat burgers before training, and you'd be okay.
Who's your celebrity crush?
It used to be Pink, that singer. Pink. That's funny. You got good questions.
Celebrity people say you look like?
Oh, everyone thinks I look like McGregor, but I've been looking like this for a long time, man. When McGregor was running around with a shaved head, I had the same look, and you can even go look it up on the internet.
Go-to song when you're singing in the shower?
Legendary by Wesley Arms.
What would you rather be? Would you rather be the best fighter in the world, or would you rather be the highest paid fighter in the world? What means more to you, glory or wealth?
The best fighter in the world, I would. I never got into this for money. It's nice because I'm getting a really nice paycheck next Friday. So is Johnny. It's cool that we're getting taken care of on this regional scene like this.
A lot of people for a very long time have wanted to see you fight against Josh Hill, but for whatever reason these fights keep falling through for whatever the reason is, whether it's scheduling conflicts or money or something, injuries, something always happens. Are you still interested in this fight?
Yeah, the Josh Hill fight will happen down the road. He's great. He just got that little hiccup happen to him, but yeah, that'll happen. Like, I haven't taken any big shots in this game. I haven't been hurt in a year in there, so I still got a long career ahead of me. The fight will happen. Let's hope he finishes this no-name guy he's fighting a week after me. If not, we're probably going to all make a big, giant meme about it.
So you're still confident that this fight is going to happen, because it kind of seems like, okay, yeah, he's lost to Marlon Moraes, who's a very good fighter, and yes, he lost on The Ultimate Fighter, but it kind of seems like you guys are moving in two different directions. I know his record is still very good, but it doesn't feel like the timing's right now.
No, the timing's not right now. I don't know. They were offered the fight. They turned down a lot of money to go fight that kid for a quarter of the money. So, but I'm a tough fight to take right after Marlon, after he lost to Marlon.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be a lot of things, like there's a lot of heat between, not the camps, but everyone thinks that I can beat him, right? And then there's a group of people that think he can beat me, right? So it'll be a lot of alpha male stuff, you know what I mean?
Right.
When this fight finally happens.
Right. Why do you want this fight? Is it because you want to figure out who's actually number one, or do you not like him? Why do you want this fight?
I want to see who's number one. I was number one in the country in wrestling in my first sport, and now I'm number one in the country in my second sport. So, and I never been in one fist fight in my life, like outside the ring. I saw this stuff on TV, and I said, I'm going to do this, and now I did it, and now I'm where I'm at. I said I was going to fight in the UFC. I'm already fighting UFC guys. I'm a UFC caliber fighter, so I manifested my dreams and my goals so far, and I'd like to take Josh Hill out just to say I'm number one, and if it'd be for a belt, that'd be awesome.
We've been talking about you going to the UFC, but what about some of the other shows? Because it seems like, World Series of Fighting could have easily put a fight between you and Josh Hill together. Are you interested in Bellator or World Series of Fighting, those kind of shows? Do you have any interest, or is it UFC only for you?
I do, but I don't. Like, right now, I'm sticking with Fight Night until UFC calls, because Fight Night pays more than Bellator or WSOS by a long shot. And this Fight Night, I'm in the 1% right now where I'm able to do well because I'm throwing my hands in the air and I'm mean mugging. I got a good little gimmick going, and it's the Canada's loving it, and I'm a good draw here, and the pay-per-view numbers are always up when I fight. I got a cool little thing going, and the promoters love me. I'm friends with the promoters. Don't like fighters, but every promoter loves me, and I always hustle tickets. I get things done, and I bring a show. And how many guys that get subs? They're usually not exciting, But I still get subs, and I make this fight exciting.
When the UFC has had dialogue with you or your manager, what have they been telling you? Have they just been telling you the traditional, hey, just keep winning, keep finishing fights, and we'll sign you, just that?
Tell me the same thing. They say be ready to go on short notice. There's a couple things, like, I don't know. They know about me, trust me. They've been harassed about me. They're sick of hearing about me.
You're 32 years old, so would you say that you're in the prime of your career right now?
I don't think so. I'm better than I was yesterday. I'm better than I was last week. Like, even my coaches, we make this joke. Like, every time Fight Week comes, like, it's like I get powers. I got the out-of-body experience when I'm in that ring. I don't even know. I perform my best when the pressure's on. If I was to fight Johnny Bedford in the gym there, and nobody was watching, and this and that, I probably wouldn't do as good. But if you throw a couple thousand people in an arena, you put some cameras on me, you give me some entrance music, watch out. Like, that's when I'm going to perform best. And I was always the same in amateur wrestling. I beat the world champion in amateur wrestling, the Korean. I'd always have moments of greatness. When I fought good people, I could go up to their level, easily. So I've always had moments of greatness. And I did these when I was 19, 20 years old. So who says at 32 years old, now that I'm a man, that I can't be a world champion? Who has the right to tell me that? I believe in myself, and I'm no different than Dominic Cruz or Cody Garbrandt or these guys. I'm working very hard, and we'll see what happens.
You went 0-13 your first year of college wrestling, but by your fourth year, you had completely turned things around, and you went 44-4 that year. Your MMA career did not start off great. You started off your career 3-4, but since then you've turned things around, and you're now on an 8-fight win streak with 7 finishes, and now your record is 11-4. So how did going through that experience help you turn around your MMA career?
A lot. It helped me at the beginning. When I was down and out, and before I committed to this, I remember those hard years wrestling, and I remember how hard it was, and I remember getting beat up a lot, and it sucked. I don't know if you've ever wrestled, but it's the hardest thing to do. Like, MMA is a lot easier than amateur wrestling season. Amateur wrestling season is a grind, and they try and break you when you're a kid. You're 18, 19 years old. But I knew if I could come back in wrestling, And I beat the NCAA Division I national champion my final year, Travis Lee. He was very good. I actually beat him in folk style, and he beat me in freestyle, which is unbelievable that I beat him at his own game. I knew if I could do these things, I can for sure do it in MMA. MMA is easier than wrestling to a certain degree. I learned by trial and error. I remember that first year of university, and I never wrestled folk style because we're from Canada. There's only one university that wrestles with the NC2A program, and that's Simon Fraser University, where I was from. If I didn't get the folk style level wrestling like Bedford and like the rest of them, I wouldn't be here today, because the Canadian wrestlers only get 40, 30 matches a year, where we were getting lots. Like, that's just on my that record, 44-4. That was just on the college season. Like, I probably had 80, 90 matches that year. Like, you have lots of exhibitions. You're on the road doing dual meets every weekend. I came back through trial and error.
During your amateur wrestling career, you came up short a few times. Are you only in MMA to get the glory that you missed out on during your wrestling career?
100%. I missed the Olympics twice, very close, and I had a Russian immigrant that was from my country that I couldn't beat, and I was 23 years old, and I quit. And I knew that I had more in my life in sport, but I didn't know what. So I was so thankful to find MMA to give me that focus. And MMA is cool, man, and I'm a lifelong wrestling fan growing up, WWE wrestling. And when I was a kid, I'd always think about coming to the ring and being, like, entertaining people. And, like, but I was so small, how am I ever going to do that? And I don't like WWE now by any means, but this is me living out my childhood, so to speak.
Who gave you the nickname Big Cat?
It's funny. It's a couple people, like, when I was wrestling, they called me Big Cat, and, like, I don't know, I was just skinny, and, like, I was aggressive, and I was just, like, I'd always land on my feet, or, like, I had good balance, and, like, one of my buddies called me Big Cat, but then I didn't hear it for, like, 5-6 years, and then when I'm fighting, you need a nickname, right? And I was like, man, it just rhymed, Jesse Big Cat Arnett, and now we just go with it. Everyone knows me as Big Cat.
What's the best thing that ever happened to you?
Sports, wrestling. Wrestling's the best thing.
What's the worst thing that ever happened to you?
When I was 23 and I missed the Olympics, and I just quit sport. I left. I remember I lost to a kid I wasn't supposed to lose to in Ontario, and I lost to him because I wasn't committed to the game like I was. I was a carded athlete, and when you're a carded athlete on the national team, you're expected to train all day. I was burnt out at 23 because I went from 13 years old to 23 without a break. So I was done. I hated wrestling, and I quit. I didn't retire. I left. I left the university one day, and I never went back. I didn't go back. And it wasn't until I was 27 years old, and then I started MMA. But that was one of the worst things I did. But no, I wouldn't have it any other way now, because wrestling was just a path to lead me where I am today, for sure.
What's your pet peeve?
When people are late. I'm the first guy there, and I'm the last one to leave. And time is important to me.
Person you look up to the most?
My coaches, my brother, my mom, my family. There's a lot. Coaches. I'd say coaches and family.
Number one thing on your bucket list?
I'm doing my bucket list.
Some people are afraid of spiders. Some people are afraid of heights. Some people are afraid of the dark. What are you afraid of?
I'm afraid of not giving my best. I'm afraid of disappointing myself. And that's why I train so hard, and I put everything into it, because I want to have no regrets. Like I said, if this is a guy to beat me and stop me, I have no regrets. It's not because I didn't train hard. It's not because I wasn't at it all day. It'll be because Johnny Bedford or this guy was better than me that night. I can't see it happening. Not right now. Not at 135 pounds. Not at 135 pounds. I'm too long. I'm too good. My skills are too good. Too big. I'm too strong. He's a big guy too, but I'm going to be bigger than Johnny Bedford.
What's your hidden talent?
Hidden talent? What am I good at? I'm a pretty good pool player, but I only ever do it when I was back at the bar in the day, but I can still go and play pool. I can wakeboard really good too. I can wakeboard really good.
Jesse, last question. If you could change one thing about the world, what would you change and why?
Just so people don't get along. Like the racism and all this bullshit and just like borders and everything. We're all human. We're all the same, and I just want everyone to love each other.
Jesse, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you'd like to thank, and is there anything you want to say to the fans?
I want to thank Tilt MMA, Rival Boxing in Cochrane, Built 360. I want to thank all my family, my girlfriend, my mom, everyone who's just continuously supported me, and the people around me. When I was 3 and 4, 4 and 4, 5 and 4, I had a lot of people who knew what I could do, and those people now, to see them, like thank you for believing in me.
Jesse, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it. Good luck. October 28th at Z Promotions Fight Night, Medicine Hat 2 against Johnny Bedford.
Okay, thank you so much, Mike. You're a great man, and you know a lot about the sport, and you knew a lot about me, and it humbles me, and I'm going to put a show on for you guys.